Hey everybody, this is Spooky from ArmoredTalk.com, your website dedicated to armored warfare news and information. Today we are driving a T-72A on the Russian public test server. I'm choosing to show you this now simply because the Early Access 3 test is coming to an end. Next week we should have some information on what Early Access 4 is going to be, when it starts, etc. One of the things that's included in Early Access 4 are several new tanks, and this is one of them. The Russian public test server version may be slightly different in the soft stats compared to what North America and the European servers will be getting in Early Access 4, which is announced next week. However, the majority of it should be the same. Obviously, the looks will be the same. How it performs should be close. So I thought today might be a good time to go ahead and take a look at it. And as has been the case in the last couple of videos, the most recent, the T-54 Tier 2 Russian main battle tank that's coming to Early Access 4, and then of course the video of the artillery support shells, showing you what the smoke shells or rounds provide for cover, as well as the illumination shells that I did a couple days ago. Those all are coming from the Russian public test server, where the population levels of people on the server, at least when I'm playing, are not super high. So that's why you're seeing matches where it's not a full 15 on 15. Just to explain why there's not a full complement of tanks here. One of the reasons I like the Russian main battle tanks over the American counterparts is not because they're necessarily stronger, it's just that they fit what I like to do better, which is what I'm doing right now, which is flanking. You know, oddly enough, the T-72A actually does not feel as maneuverable as the T-72. If you think about it in real life, you know, the 72A had some additional reinforced composite armor added to it, and the provisions allowing for the addition of a reactive armor had to have added weight to the vehicle, which might be why Armored Warfare is having it not be as mobile, or it could simply because I'm crazy and I'm not remembering the T-72 speed accurately, but I do believe that this one does not feel like it accelerates or maneuvers quite as much. So it may not be one of my favorite tanks to flank in, although in this particular match, to me it looks like I'm fairly safe coming up here. If there are tanks over on the right, I'm going to be in trouble, of course. However, there's only 7 in the game, and I'm able to get around behind what I think is a T-80, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a T-80 there. You know, I caught him completely unaware, and I go ahead and assume I could take another shot here before he gets fully aimed in. And I luck out in that I get protected by the car there. I'm able to get, I think, 3 or 4 shots into him, and I'm really surprised. Maybe I just really made him mad, but I'm kind of surprised he ended up coming around this corner after me. But that's one of the reasons I do like flanking, is if you can catch tanks that are not aware of you coming around or do not react fast enough, you can open up an entire flank for your team. You know, this may be more of a brawling tank or intended to be as such. My play style is flanking, and I have a hard time getting away from that. And in this game, it works pretty well, at least initially in the beginning here. You can kind of get a feel for how the T-72A aims and the speed. As you know, at this moment in time, I look up and see the score, and we're up a couple of tanks. And it looks like the majority of the enemy is over on the F1 area. I'm kind of feeling like I don't have necessarily the speed to get over there, and I might as well go ahead and start capping. I know a lot of players don't like to cap, and they like to prefer to hunt down and kill all the enemy. To me, it's a strategic decision. By me capping here, it can actually help the tank that's getting flanked right now, simply because it makes the enemy team hear their alarm going off. Oh, somebody's at the base. They don't know if it's just me or not yet, and a lot of times the enemy team will all of a sudden drop what they're doing, turn around, and come back to get me, which then allows my teammates to pursue and harass en route, or somebody to interject coming maybe from the city, you know, the G5 area here, which it looks like the Leopard 2AV is doing now. So it really is situational. Sometimes I feel it's better to cap. Other times I feel it's better to turn around and return to your own base to make sure that the enemy's not capping it. Other times it's going to go ahead and be better to pursue them. But in this case, having an advantage of more tanks in this particular game, capping seemed to be the right thing to do, especially with that low health. Is that a BMP coming in? Yeah, and that's one of the things I like doing is making sure that I draw them back to me. I think I'm going to be able to take out this BMP if I remember correctly. So you can use a capping tactic to make the enemy come to you. What you don't want to do is sit on the cap while you're getting pounded on. You know, if you are the only one on cap and there are 3 tanks shooting at you simultaneously, chances are you better not try to stay on cap just to win, because they're going to be resetting it. You'd be better off taking cover. This is not the case right now because he's coming in one at a time. There's actually 2 of us there. He was low health. It's an easy one shot for me or the tank behind me. So there was no reason to panic or do anything else. Unfortunately, the teammates that went to interject against the enemy are losing that battle. I realized that there are 2 of us up on the cap, and that might be why. Here I started actually questioning myself. I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't have capped. Maybe I should have continued down the I line and flanked everybody. That might have ended up winning the game as well, or, you know, who knows what would have happened. It's hard to say. It's those decisions you make in the heat of battle. Sometimes they are the correct ones, and sometimes they're not. There's nobody out there that can make the correct call every single time. Sometimes capping's right. Sometimes going through the cap and flanking's correct. Right now, at this point in time in the game, I'm starting to wonder, did I make the right call? Did I make the right decision? Fortunately, it does work out. You know, they do come at us, both 2 tanks at once here. If all 3 would have grouped up and hit us at the same time, it might have been a different story. What's interesting is these 2 tanks attacking us right now assume that the tank behind me has built up all the base capture points. It's a good assumption because usually that's the case. The person out front is protecting the tank that's behind them that has more of the capture points. In this particular case, though, it was me that had most of them. And they do kind of focus on him first, although I think I probably would have been the easier target to take out, being lower tier, although I guess maybe he was low on health points. It didn't work out too well for the guy rushing in. Here, I'm kind of stuck now facing 2 tanks. I'm afraid that down the 5 or 6 line, I'm going to go ahead and get flanked. Even though that's a tank that has less hit points than I do, it is a tier higher. As you can see, I'm trying to aim so that I get a green indicator indicating that I have a better shot of penetrating, and a lot of that area is red. I do find a spot, though, that will go through and hit rolls for a very nice damage of 500 and some. I couldn't quite read that fast. So now things are looking up again. I'm feeling pretty confident here. There's only one other tank left. It's my counterpart, T-72A on the enemy team. And I hit the snowdrift. I think had that shot gone, the game would have been over here. However, he also takes out anger on that poor snowdrift. I probably should have realized sooner than this that I have a lot of hit points I can trade. And he's in a lot better hold down position than I'm going to be able to be in. But my shot there does not go through, of course. And now I think I do realize, wait a minute, I can take a shot or 2 from him and be just fine. So I just need to go ahead and position so that I can get a shot clear that will take him out, regardless whether he hits me or not. And that's what I do, shoot him in the lower plate again, and the game is over. So I just wanted to give you a quick look at the T-72A so you can get a feeling for what it's going to bring in Early Access 4. Again, this has been Spooky from ArmoredTalk.com, your website dedicated to armored warfare news and information. If you liked the video, would like to see more, feel free to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, that always helps. And until later, I hope you all have a good day or good night.